Hi, my name is Archit, and I'm the founder of ClearTax. Thank you for joining us today. Twice a year, we have ClearTax Forward, where we showcase what we've built. Product demos only, no slides, no pitches. Before diving into the demo, let's talk about a crucial decision enterprise finance teams face: deciding between going local or global. Global companies need to balance what remains consistent across borders, things like values and core systems, and with things which require localization, such as pricing or tax rules or compliances. Managing this tension properly lets enterprises expand into new markets smoothly, adjust to regulatory changes without disrupting operations. For example, I spoke with a CFO overseeing finance in 14 countries. Each time a new invoicing mandate came up, her team had to initiate a brand new project with its own local country specific vendor, point in time integration, and timelines. Her team effectively became a compliance project management office, which wasn't why they were hired in the first place. Her situation wasn't simple either. One core ERP covers 80% of her global business, but she still has legacy ERPs in a handful of countries. On top of that, her ERP upgrade is coming, and now she has to figure out how to stay compliant across 14 countries through that transition. Three countries she operates in has B2C reporting mandates also, which means her POS systems, her e-commerce platforms need to be pulled into the compliance picture too, and just for those three markets. So every new mandate isn't just a compliance task, it is becoming a cascade. The e-invoicing mandates often affect core systems, creating instability. And the core issue is not just the ERP, it's also system design. ERPs aren't made to handle government specific tasks alongside regular business functions, leading to conflicts. The change is too much. Her key tension for the CFO: should I just solve for the most urgent upcoming mandate with one local vendor or go with a separate global layer? Now, compliance requirements are evolving rapidly. At ClearTax, we started in India, where e-invoicing meant handling billions of transactions in real time. Similar regulations soon popped up in places like Malaysia, India, Saudi Arabia, and so on. These mandates typically follow a pattern, moving from structured data submission to governments using the data they collect, essentially transforming businesses into validators of government figures. You are now a VAT tax collector. The trend is spreading. 22 countries are going live with e-invoicing in the next 3 years. So it's clear that the move towards more digital, more real-time compliance is inevitable. The question is whether these changes should determine your global strategy or not. We believe compliance should be treated as a separate global layer that absorbs the specific needs of a different region. That way, businesses can keep operating with their usual processes and systems. The ERP shouldn't transform into a tax processing hub each time there's a new regulation, a new government comes up with a new mandate. ClearTax operates on this principle. We receive raw transaction data from your ledgers, from your systems, from your ERPs, handle all the country specific details, and present everything neatly. Whenever there's a change in Germany or in France or in Saudi Arabia, our platform manages it, leaving the core systems protected and untouched. In summary, decide if your compliance is part of your overall system structure or should it separately exist. To show what that looks like in practice with actual mandates and streamlined on a single dashboard, I'll hand it over to Ishan now.
Thank you, Arshit. Today I'm very excited to present the world-class enterprise solution that ClearTax has built. Of course, for this solution, we work in conjunction and very closely with various government across the geos. For example, we work very closely with ZATCA in Saudi, LHDN in Malaysia, BIR in Philippines, and of course, we also work very closely with the PayPal authorities for France and UAE. Today, I would like to tell you about the high-level architecture that ClearTax has built to ensure no customer worries about multiple geographies going live, multiple models going live, etc. etc. Here you can see we connect with your ERP seamlessly, whether it's SAP, whether it's Microsoft, etc. etc. We also connect seamlessly with your POS systems. We provide out of the box SFTP, API, and web interface solutions. Now we just don't do invoice generations, right? We also manage your digital certificates, your communication, your recon, your archivals, and analytics, right? All this seamlessly interacts with the government to ensure that you are compliant at all times. You don't have to worry about any government going live at what point of time. You just need to integrate with us in one-stop solution. Now, going forward, I'd like to quickly showcase a unified global API solution. This one-stop solution ensures that you can integrate one time with us and don't worry about anything. When I say you can integrate one time with us, I like to show you a quick sneak peek how the API documentation look like. Now the API documentation encompasses all the countries, right? Any country, every country, all samples, all extensions, all payloads, etc. Quickly we'll move to the API documentation and give you a very small look. Here you go. Here you can see the document for Belgium, Malaysia, UAE, all at one single place. Now, what does that mean, right? Let's quickly take a look at a quick demo, right? Now, moving forward, this one of our customer is actually integrated with us in multiple geographies, right? Belgium, Poland, Croatia. Not just that, the customer also has multiple entities, so he has multiple VATs also integrated with us. So one single dashboard for everything. Moving forward, let's now ingest some data actually and see the system working. Now for ingesting data, we have clear templates provided to the customers. These are self-serve templates. In the templates, you can see there are seller details, there are buyer details, and there are invoice level details. You can also see the headers are color coded, right? What does that mean? The color coding means simply making sure that you are aware what is mandate, what is optionally mandate, and what is completely optional. In a brief, we will look at the tab for color coding and we'll realize how simple this is, right? Just give us a second and we just open the tab. Here you go. It is as simple as this. And also a very critical part is the explanation sheet. Here, all your fields are listed. Whatever is required to be mandate, whatever is required to be optional, all your explanations, all your descriptions, all the UBL references. All this makes sure that you are aware what to fill, what to do, how to be compliant. Now, moving forward, there are certain fields that government mandates us to predefine. All this also is captured. You don't have to worry about all this. Here is an example about invoice type code, right? Here you can see the type codes for debit note, credit note, normal invoice tax codes, etc. etc. Now the sheet is filled. What do? Simply just save the sheet and we'll just quickly save and move forward to our enterprise SaaS solution and simply inject the sheet. It is as simple as just clicking a button and ingesting or uploading the sheet. It'll just take a while as the sheet uploads. Now, once the sheet is uploaded, the system doesn't stop here, right? Before ingesting, it also tells you that it has found multiple VATs or it has identified multiple VATs. For this demo purpose, I'll inject all the VATs for time. Now, once all the VATs are ingested, we'll proceed to check errors first. At ClearTax, there is a system which automatically detects all the errors in one go. Let's quickly take a look at the errors. And I'll tell you how simple it is to fix these errors. Now, this particular invoice has an error code in the country code. Here you go. It is highlighted in red. Let's quickly start fixing these errors. It's as simple as just typing it out the correct information. It'll just take us a while to fix these errors. And yes, all the errors are fixed. Now, once the errors are fixed, it is as simple as to just simply click on proceed, right? and that's it. You can see all the data has been successfully ingested. The now data is available here. You can just select certain invoices. And before selecting, let's look at one invoice and see if the validations are fine. Everything that you ingested looks fine. You can validate, make changes if you want, edit those invoices, etc. etc. Now everything looks fine here. Obviously, we have 100% accuracy. We'll select some invoices and send it. Now, as soon as you send the invoice, the status changes to delivered to the buyer network. We'll just open up the invoice to see if everything is working fine. And yes, everything looks fine. The status has now automatically changed to delivered to buyer. The invoice has reached the buyer. Now, before going to the buyer section, a very critical part is the invoice is human readable, right? And here is the PDF that you can, just download out of the box. And we just open up the PDF to see if everything looks fine or not. And here you go. The PDF looks crisp and human readable, of course. Now, not just this, right? You can have your custom templates built in as per your preferences. Now, when I see preferences, here are some examples. Of course, you can do more color coding, more logo incorporation, etc. Everything is available. Now, let's move on to another critical feature. Now, what does your accounting team needs, right? The first thing is they need to ensure that your auditing is perfect, right? It has to be 10 out of 10. So we have the ability to download detailed reports here. Let's download a detail and let's open up that report and quickly check if everything looks fine. Yeah, the report is opening and here you go. Everything looks crisp, everything looks sorted, and that's about it. Now, I really want to talk about one more thing, right? The invoice reached your buyer, but the buyer hasn't received in their email inbox. What do? Your payment is still blocked. For this use case and ensuring that your payments are unblocked instantly, sorry, what do? You simply switch on a switch and the emails will start flowing. Let's go back to the SaaS layer. I've switched on the switch here, of course, and we'll try sending one more invoice. You just take a second and yeah, here you go. Let's select some random invoice. It's okay. And we have selected one invoice. We'll just quickly go ahead and click on send and check the delivery status. Yeah, here you can see the delivery status is triggered. We'll quickly open the email and see if everything is fine. Yes, the email has been received with the PDF attachment nonetheless. Now moving forward, another critical part is a wholesome view of what you have done in the system, right? What are your analytics? Now you can filter based on date. For time being, what I've done is I've simply selected June as the date filter. Here you can see what invoices have been sent to buyers, what is the value of those invoices, what is the quanta of those invoices. You can also then filter on type of documents, etc., etc. Here we'll just quickly see what are invoices that are stuck on the network. No invoices stuck. And yeah, this tells us every invoice has been delivered to the buyer successfully. Let's go back. Now we have all these invoices that we have sent. We want to ensure that these have reached the buyer. So we'll switch on to the buyer side. It's as simple as this. Let's switch to the buyer section. And yes, here you go. You have received all the invoices almost instantly as you were just preparing for this. Now I'll take a step back, right? What do you do with the invoices? Once you receive these invoices, it's a tedious task to download all the invoices. Then based on some business rule, some business logic, take these invoices, manually feed into your Aribas of the world, your Coupas of the world, etc., etc. At ClearTax, we simplified this use case, right? One of the biggest customer pain points. Here, I'm showing you an example, which is a personalized business rule engine, where this particular customer wanted, if their order reference number is alphanumeric, it should go to one of the inboxes. If the order reference number is numeric, it should go to another inbox. It was a very complex process, but at Clear, we have made it very simple. I'll quickly just turn back to the buyer side of things and showcase in a minute how this whole logic is working and is it working fine or not, adhering to the business logic that has been defined in this particular screen. So here you go. Let's select a couple of invoices and let's just open up one of the invoices. Okay, we can see they have been delivered to the inbox, but are they adhering to the rules? Let's quickly open one. Yes, here you go. You can see the order reference number is alphanumeric. As per this, it should go to a desired email address. Let's quickly go into the action tab and quickly see if it actually was sent to the desired email address. And yes, it was. Just to complete the loop, let's open one more invoice and see if it is adhering to the business rules. Here, the order reference number is numeric and it should go to the other desired email inbox. Let's go back and just quickly check the action tabs. Yeah, so everything is working seamlessly. It's as simple as this. You don't have worry. I don't have to worry about this tedious process anymore. Of course, all the functionalities on the sales sides are also available on the purchase side. With this, I like to end my demo. I have plethora of features to showcase, but the time only permits us for this. And I would really like to welcome our esteemed guest, Arijit Ganguly, who is the SVP and Global Tax Head for Mphasis. Thank you, guys.
Am I audible? One moment. Yeah, Pragati. Hello. I can start? Okay, it's audible, right? Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Arijit Ganguly. I'm the Global Head of Tax in Mphasis. I have over 24 years of experience in industry, spanning consulting, manufacturing, and obviously now for the last 15 years, I'm in heading the global tax in Mphasis as an IT MNC company based out of Bangalore and owned by Blackstone of US. Mphasis, just to give you a short background, Mphasis is a $1.7 billion company, largely into IT tech consulting, and it's owned by Blackstone. And I run the global mandate for tax and global compliance, straddling into direct tax, indirect tax, transfer pricing, and obviously corporate tax. Now, if you ask me about what is the relevance of technology in tax, that is, I think, the most german topic these days, in the CFO circle or tax head circles. See, technology is an enabler, obviously, okay, because there's a limitation to human efforts in tackling data and repetitive processes. So technology actually comes in there and simplifies life in terms of tackling global compliance, tackling data analysis, and therefore I believe tech and tax and finance as a function must be tech led. It should be tech forward, and not just for its own sake, because technology actually really changes the way a tax leader gets to work and gets to look at data. In my personal experience, we have seen multiple technologies taking shape within the company itself, straddling from, let's say, sales tax compliance platforms or algorithms to global invoicing, which I'm going to speak a little bit later on. In India, the experience that I had within India, and obviously as we are rolling out the mandates with ClearTax in other multiple geographies. So the fundamental message is that technology, whether you choose any partner for that instance, I think the main core objective should be how does technology really simplifies work, cuts out drudgery in your work, and gives you more qualitative time to really focus on tax analysis, tax research, and the core aspects of tax, rather than getting mired into looking into multiple Excel sheets, macros, and all that. So the mantra is bring in technology, simplify life, look at the root problem, the root cause analysis, and fix it. And it's not a one-time fix. I mean, it's like a fix forever. So that's how I think about technology in tax. So technology in tax has one aspect of, just to summarize, the compliance and simplification aspect, and other is the research aspect. How do you use technology to do better tax research? I think most of the participants would know that today there are multiple platforms and AI algorithms, which are actually being used in tax research. Let me move on quickly to the problem areas where the global leaders are today facing or are confronted with, and how it's not a one country issue. For example, Mphasis has global footprints in multiple geographies. As I speak, except probably in Africa, I think we are in all the continents. So how you, as a leader, you're sitting in one continent, can keep tab about the regulatory changes happening in multiple geographies, across multiple time zones, and you have to really interact with the tax office and the local consultants in managing the global tax compliance. So it's different country, different time zone, different laws, different set of rules, all moving in one single time. And as a leader, you have to really manage. Is it really possible with a team? And obviously, as you know, there are pressures, cost pressures, where you cannot increase the team beyond a particular point. So where team size cannot be increased, technology has to come in. For example, if you come to a specific example of, let's say, e-invoicing projects, India have shown the whole world what e-invoicing can do in GST, the B2B, and obviously B2C has yet to arrive. We, as a group, faced similar challenges in other countries. For example, in the jurisdiction of Poland, Belgium, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and also Malaysia. So it's not a single mandate. I think different government will come at different points in time. Some even simultaneously also, and you will have to manage the entire the brunt of going live, because invoicing is the heart and soul of finance. If the AR stops, the collection stops, the payment stops, and it can have draconian results. So as a global leader, you'll have to straddle and manage your time and a multi-country geography, dealing with multiple tax office, and also ensure compliance. Now, how do you do that? One approach is basically, if you go project by project, and if you take a country as a project, you have a project metrics, define a timeline, and you go live sequentially, one by one. But that's a luxury we don't have anymore as a global. Your CFO will not allow, because your AR team cannot allow and have the luxury of going sequentially, right? So do we have the bandwidth and the tech bandwidth to do it on our own internally? In my personal experience, I don't think it's possible. And we definitely need a reliable and a solid tech partner. And obviously, in that particular space, I would definitely like to share our extremely good experience with Clear. They have been a real good business partner and tech partner rather, in multiple geographies across countries in rolling out our e-invoicing mandate. Clear's, I think, the fundamental, the differentiator for Clear is the simplicity of their tech. They understand the regulation country by country, and they have come up with a tech architecture that really marries the law and the tech beautifully, so that as a tax leader, you don't get stuck in relation to when you deal with the government. And that's one of the critical, I would say, differentiator, tax differentiator or tech differentiator for Clear. Now, when a particular country, let's say, for example, Malaysia or any other country will change the rules, the adaptability of the platform is very critical. And we shouldn't be struggling. The tax team and the AR team shouldn't be struggling to start a new country project every time, and probably have the difficulties in dealing with the local regulations and how to structure invoice, because the API interface, I think the requirement of the particular invoicing. For example, in India, we have a typical requirement of pushing the invoicing into the government GSTN portal, and where you have an IRN, I think the e-invoicing lands up with IRN and QR code, etc. These kind of requirements are different from country to country. And therefore, when you choose a tech partner, it's very critical that you understand their capabilities and whether they are amenable to changing their tech architecture and the backend systems in terms of integration as well as orientation, depending on the country-specific laws that the government and regulators are coming up with. So in my personal experience, when we started the journey with Clear in India, we found them that they know their understanding of the law is good, and they understand what we need, what business needs, and what a client needs. That's very critical. While obviously we do study the law and we do study the regulations extensively, and we also provide support to them, but they don't come in as a they're not trying to sell you a tool. I mean, Clear is not just a tool; it's a holistic business partner, a tech partner as such, I would say, rather than a tool. The partner is a better concept because they really partner with you. Because midstream, what will happen, you will find regulations, either getting strengthened or becoming more stricter. For example, in India, we know, all of you must be knowing, or many of you who are dealing with GST compliance in India must be knowing that how IMS, the invoice management system, has been rolled out with the government, and how it is actually creating a lot of issues for many various people in the industry in relation to dealing with invoices, rejection of credit notes, debit notes. So how do you handle them? Okay, so one part is the regulatory part and the knowledge. Second is obviously the scalability factor. As I mentioned, okay, with the law changes and the regulator provides more functionality in the particular tool or the platform, can the ERP or can the interface handle it? Are they really meant for a long-term haul, or they'll have to go for a refix every 2 years or 3 years, or it will break down? So in my experience, I found Clear to be quite amenable. They are up to the speed in terms of what the government thinks, which means their backend network with the GSTN portal is extremely solid. And so even when there are technical glitches on the platform, the Clear systems are up and running. Okay. Second aspect is as I mentioned about the simplicity and the tech amenability with the government portal. The other thing is clarity in reporting and assistance, what you get as a leader from dashboards and on the platform, which is also quite relevant for a global leader, because you need to have a tap on what's really happening country by country and in relation to your GST and VAT compliances, in terms of your ITC availability, optimization of ITC, which is critical for the board and the CFO. So overall, this is a very complex function. Okay? And managing this, obviously, you need to have a tool and a partner. And obviously, for me, I guess, and as I emphasize the tax team, we have found that they have been able to run with us. Clear that the backend team, the tech team has been able to run with us. They give you agility, they give you speed, they give you scalability. So that way, I think it's a very well sorted tech architecture that they have brought on the market. So I would like to thank Clear, the team Clear, for supporting us in multiple geographies and standing up to us in terms of the real need, whether it's in India or in Malaysia or Poland or Belgium. We are having new mandates with the Clear team for e-Invoicing in going live in a couple of I think already going live in Poland, Belgium, Malaysia, etc. And as Archit mentioned, in next 36 months, you will see another 22 countries going live, drawing parallel from the Indian example. So I think we have drawn a roadmap clearly with Clear, and we are partnering with them. I'm pretty happy to endorse them on this particular platform. So thank you very much, gentlemen, Team Clear, for giving us this opportunity to share our experience. And I would like to hand over now to Suresh. Thank you.
Thanks, Arijit. Nothing I say about a product will land the same way that just did. So I won't try to add to it. I want to talk about something else, something that comes up in almost every conversation I have these days. I meet CTOs, CFOs, and tax leaders every week, and nearly all of them are running AI somewhere. And when I ask what has fundamentally changed, the answer almost every time is not much yet. We are still figuring it out. And here's the thing, it's not the AI's fault. The models are genuinely good now. The problem is, what are we asking AI to look at? So think of it like this. Imagine you hire one of the best analysts in the world and you hand them numbers scattered across 5 systems, half of them disagreeing with each other, and all of them from the last month. They will work hard, they will sound confident, and they will all be confidently wrong. because they're reasoning about wrong things. That's what most enterprise AI is today, a brilliant analyst staring at bad data. So before AI can be anything useful, the data has to be in one place, be correct, and be current. And that doesn't happen by accident. Somebody has to build that machinery that makes it true. That's what we have spent years building technology that connects directly to your ERP and consolidates data. It validates, transforms, and cleans the data and fixes what is wrong at the source. And it keeps everything current in real time. E-invoicing was one of the first things we built on this foundation, and it has set a brutal bar because on the other side of every invoice is a government validating it in real time the moment it's created. The clearing of invoices, though, is just the start. That data has to hold up months later in your reconciliations, in your filings, in the audits. And we process billions of transactions a year holding to that standard. And that's why this matters now. The same infrastructure that powers compliance is what we build our AI on. So when we deploy an AI use case, resolving reconciliation exceptions, answering a notice, chasing a mismatch, it lands on that data infrastructure. We don't start an AI project with a year of data cleanup. We start it on day one. So earlier, I told you about a brilliant analyst staring at bad data. What you're about to see is that same analyst with the data finally right. Same intelligence, different foundation. Foundation first, then intelligence. Aishwarya, over to you to show it.
Thanks, Suesh. And as he rightly said, AI works well with structured data. And with e-invoicing, that structured data is getting created for your organization. But here's what nobody is talking about. E-invoicing is not just easing the business transactions, it's creating a second ledger with the government, a real-time transaction level mirroring of your business, which means every organization adopting e-invoicing is now sitting with two data sets. One, which is in their ERP, and the other data set is the e-invoice data that they have reported. And governments notice. We have seen this play out in India, in KSA, and now in Malaysia. Audit volumes have tripled. And the questions that the tax authorities are asking is simple. Why is your VAT filing that you have reported, which is from your ERP, looks different to the e-invoice data that you have reported? Substantiate the gap, and if not, pay the penalty. Your finance teams never planned this. And it's not going to be an easy task going through lakhs of documents across these two systems, comparing them, finding the mismatches, gaps, and then giving defensible justification for these gaps. Gaps will exist. That's not a problem. The problem is you not knowing about it until the tax authority does. Here's where our ClearTax Recon AI comes into play. It pulls the data from your GL and it takes the data from e-invoicing. It, it silently does a matching between these two data sets, identifies gaps, and alerts your team only when something needs their attention. Given this is AI native, it not only does a pattern-based matching, it understands your domain, it understands your accounting policies, it understands your rules. Let me show you how. As you see here, this is an email which one of the one of the companies have just got this morning. It's not a penalty notice. It's not a call from their auditor. It's an alert from Recon AI where it is showing the list of issues or discrepancies that this organization is seeing currently. As you see here, it has given a very clean summary of what are these issues and what are the action that the user needs to take to, to correct these discrepancies. And for more details, the user can always click on the dashboard link, which will take them to our product. This is the kind of alerts your team will see only if there are discrepancies. When no discrepancies, no email, no tension. That's how our product has been designed because we understand your finance team has too much in their plate already. Now, as a finance user, when I get this email and I click on this dashboard link, you will come to our Recon AI product. Here, it gives you a summarized view of the documents that we have considered to do this reconciliation. A count of documents, a very, a very prescribed way of your exceptions, a, a way of showing you the penalties that you're going to incur because of these gaps, and also your VAT at risk. It's a very clean summary that your teams can consume today. It not just talks about exceptions, it also gives you a list of all the other classifications which the AI has figured out is not a significant gap. It knows these are justified gaps, but it has still given you a view of those classification. It has given you a breakdown by document count, by taxable value, what is the tax values that you see in both these data sets, and what is the gap or discrepancy, if any. This summary is good enough for your team to understand which buckets they should really go after and fix ASAP. Given this is the summary, we also understand how your finance team operates. Your team understands trial balance, and we understand how you work. And given that, we have also given you a breakdown by GL code. What are the documents that are missing, are in mismatch, or have actually missed an e-invoice creation because you know your revenue GLs that need the e-invoice to be created. Once you have this view, a summarized view of what are the gaps, a slice and dice of it, you can also dig deep into one of these buckets by clicking on this view option that you see on the product. The moment you click on one of these rows, you will be heading to a detailed list of documents. And in this, you can get to see a prescribed list of values, for example, the document number, the customer details, what are the amount that we are talking about in consideration. You also have an option to download these documents because we know you will fix this in your ERP. And that's where your actual action starts. And given this is AI native, your team need not get overwhelmed. How do I do? What do I do next? Just ask a simple question, like how we have asked here, as to what to do with this missing e-invoices. The AI will very, very clearly tell you what are the set of actions and what happens if you miss taking these actions. The AI completely understands that you need guidance, support, a partner who tells you what to do next. And that's where our Recon AI has tried to reduce this learning curve for your teams because we want to make this process as simple as e-invoicing for you. Now, after your team consumes this instruction, they can ask further more questions if they want as to how we have done these joins, etc., and so on. The users also get to see in a tab as to what are the penalties that we are talking about. Given you're already delayed your e-invoice creation or you have missed it, it will show you real penalties. Once you have consumed your sales recon in this manner, our product also has a similar reconciliation for purchases as well, which is nothing but matching your purchase transactions in your ERP with the e-invoices that have come through your vendors. And similarly, just like sales, we have tried to classify basis your accounting policies and your accounting rules, what are the sub buckets that apply to you and which are the gaps that really need your attention. As you see here, we have highlighted what is critical or needs attention, needs review. We have also called out what is out of scope, which means your team need not even bother to double click them. So in this way, we have tried to go through a lakhs of documents and only surface those 50 to 60 documents that need your attention every month. So that now brings your team's focus only on those gaps. And that's how our product is now designed for your convenience. For if any of your teams is interested to know about this product, please reach out to our account managers or CSMs who are already in touch with you for this process. So thanks everyone for attending ClearTax Forward. For any queries, you can email us at pmm@cleartax.com. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.